I was frustrated. I could see both sides, Iron
Mhm.
Man's side and Captain America's side. Bucky is,
Really?
like, the weakest link. I don't think you can unmush his brain. That was such an emotional scene. I felt so bad for Tony.
Iron Man?
That was the saddest thing.
The government was gonna kill him. Let's be realistic here.
Would that have been bad? He's a huge threat to society. 'Cause
Why was it
doesn't
him?
Rhodey work for the military?
Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Yep, that's exactly why.
Someone
I
flame this kid right
Get it!
now.
Okay, I will
Boy,
accept
you
I'm wrong.
don't know ball.
Welcome back to the Forget the Critics podcast. It is episode 17. I'm your host, Aaron Haig, and with me is,
Your other host, Libby Collins.
and today we are talking about two amazing movies. We started off phase 3 with Captain America Civil War and Doctor Strange. Now, if you're listening on the audio version, you'll hear all of these back to back. But if you're watching on YouTube, you'll have to wait for the Doctor Strange one to come out on Saturday. But let's get straight into the Captain America Civil War one because that one is going to be first. Libby, you and I didn't talk at all after we watched this movie. What were your
Right.
initial thoughts?
Um, I was frustrated.
Okay,
I think
why?
that's, like, the best way to put it. Um, well, I was frustrated because I think I could see both sides, Iron Man's side and Captain America's side. I I understood why they both thought the way that they did, but it's frustrating to see them butting heads so badly, and they were, like, putting their Avenger teammates' lives at risk by asking them to fight each other.
Yeah. I found that so interesting, like, watching this the second time. My original so here's I wanna tell you what my standpoint was before. So, shout out Jaden Boyce. Him and I, one time in an airport, had fought for, I believe it was 3 hours straight about this movie because he was hard stuck on the fact that Iron Man was right, and I was like, "No, I'm hard stuck. Captain America is the right one here." And that was my stance back then.
Ooh,
I've rewatched the movie. I've rewatched the movie now, and I'm still on Captain America's side, but I can see more of both sides. And I think this movie does a really good job at all of these. There are so many moving parts. Like, the main story is obviously Captain America because it's his movie, but there are so many different, like, situations and different things that Marvel does to make you sway this way, but then it pulls you the complete other direction. And so you're constantly
yeah,
playing this mind game back and forth. And so, like, it wants you to pick a side. Like, they want you to, like, pick that clear side. Because I feel like throughout the entire movie, they're trying to say, "Hey, Captain America is the clear side here," or it could be the other one. No, I feel like honestly, it's Iron Man. They're like, "Hey, Iron Man is the clear side here. You should pick Iron Man." But then Captain America, they do so many things with him to make it so that it's a conflicting opinion, and so then
yeah.
that gets
I
really
get
hard
what you're
to, like,
saying,
decipher
bro.
on which one.
I agree with what you're saying because it seems like throughout the whole movie, um, the way that everyone talks towards Captain America, think like Tony and Natasha, they're kinda talking to each other and they're like, "Oh, like, we still can't get him to sign it." Like, they know that what they're doing is right, and they just can't even fathom why he thinks the way that he does. So, I
Yeah.
agree, it does make you feel like the movie wants you to be on Iron Man's side and think that, like, Captain America's doing some crazy shit.
Yeah. And the reason why I was so strong on Captain America's side, and you can argue with me if you don't believe this, but my argument the entire time has been the reason why Captain America is right is because, one, I'd written this down during the movie. I'm gonna make a bunch of different points that are gonna support the argument why Captain America is right. But the fact that Wanda had, contained that explosion and thrown it into the building, she only was able to contain that for a certain amount of time because you could see the explosion was slowly growing. I don't know what else she
Yeah.
could have done. Either it explodes that building or it kills probably them and everyone down on the ground, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that was that big of a problem. It was just too many situations like that stacked on top of each other. And so I hate how they do all of that and they pull in all the past movies like the New York incident. And I wrote this down. So when they had brought up the New York incident, I was so mad about that because dude, the they were going to nuke it
Right,
anyway. So
right,
honestly, they saved more people than they actually killed. So I think that's completely invalid. Um, they're talking about Sokovia. They actually saved a ton of people in Sokovia, and they didn't even do much destroying. That was Ultron. Now, I guess the argument is Tony Stark created Ultron, but
right.
so I don't
Well,
know. But then,
yeah, I don't like that the past was being brought up either because I'm like, the people who aren't Avengers, they don't know, like, your average civilian doesn't know what is going on that is causing the Avengers to do this much destruction to all these cities and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, it's super inconvenient, and, like,
and dude,
the lady waiting outside the
honestly,
elevator,
too,
it sucks for her that her son died. That's, like, devastating, but she doesn't know that the Avengers weren't doing that intentionally.
yeah,
Like, they don't go into this
exactly.
all with the goal of, like, killing innocent people.
No, not at all. And also, too, the thing about this is that I picked out, the guy had said if the Avengers hadn't announced themselves, like from the day that Iron Man announced himself, more threats have come to Earth. I think
Mhm,
even if Iron Man hadn't have announced himself, Loki still would have gone to Earth. So
mhm,
Thor could be at more blame on this one because Thor had gone to Earth because Odin had sent him there. And that's when he had met Jane, and that's when he got this attachment towards Earth. That's the reason Loki went there, is because of his jealousy for Thor, and Thor had an attachment for Earth. So it wasn't the fact that there was a bunch of superheroes on Earth attracting threats. Loki was going to go there no matter what.
well, and that one guy, um, from Thor's 2nd movie, the villain, what was his name again? I don't even remember. But
Malekith.
he would've gone to Earth too, 'cause he when all the 9 realms lined up, he
Yeah,
wanted to, like, take over Earth too, so these Avengers are
exactly.
fighting off, like, the concept of what they're fighting off is probably so hard for the general public to grasp.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of but that's also the situation where Marvel makes it so hard because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, you know what? These people are ungrateful because they could have been annihilated so many times, but Avengers
Yeah,
saved them. And also at the same time, you got to think of it like how many people did we see during Civil War where they had like a child die? Like the main villain in the movie, that Zemo guy, that Russian that was trying to get Bucky.
the Russian that was trying to get Bucky.
Yeah. Remember him? He read
Wait,
the book to Bucky, the Red Book.
oh, yeah.
He was from Sokovia.
He
All of his family were killed during
oh,
that. And
yeah,
then
you're
also
right.
that and then also that girl that was talking to Stark, her son had died. And so
Yeah.
I I'm sitting there and that's one of those moments where Marvel makes it so hard on you because you gotta be a really heartless person to think like, nah, like Avengers were just doing their thing. Like your family and your son were collateral. You can't say that. You gotta be like, oh man, that really does suck. So then it's kinda like
Yeah,
pulling you 2 different ways there.
it is, but you have to think about how it's like 1 life for 1,000 lives, you know?
Exactly. You have to have a strong person to accept that. You have to have a strong
Yeah.
person to be like, "Yeah, my son was killed because the Avengers dropped a building on it, but, I mean, so many other people are saved." That's that's really hard for someone to accept.
Yeah,
But
well, 'cause
that's how Marvel
it
makes
would
it so
suck.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It this movie is just so good. Like, the complexity is crazy.
yeah,
Um, but there was so many different, like, really good points, on Tony. Like, even though I'm still on Captain America's side, like, Tony had some really good points. Uh, like, I think that him by saying we're no better than the bad guys if we don't, like, get control of ourselves was such a really good point because I can see where he's coming from. but also too, Captain America's side, I can get him so much because he had said that if we sign the Sokovia Accords, which was like them signing themselves away to the government, it's just shifting the blame because he's saying we need
Mhm.
because Captain America wasn't saying like he wasn't trying to say that all these people died not because of them. He was like, no, we need to apologize and man up to our mistakes. Like, yes, we killed a ton of people, but he thinks that signing the Sokovia Accords is shifting the blame instead of saying it was our fault to say because we weren't controlled, people died. And so he doesn't like that.
Yeah, and they don't take accountability. Yeah,
Yes. And so that's his point. I'm like, wow, those are two great points. And then again,
they
I'm
are
torn.
really good
I'm like,
points.
wow. Um, and also here's another thing that I always had brought up too of why Captain America was right was because Bucky. So Captain America and Bucky are obviously so much older than everyone in this movie. And Captain America has seen it all. And it's so interesting how this all ties in because in Captain America's movie, like the first Avenger, Captain America, he sees Hydra, this corrupt government section of like Nazi Germany using like weapons for mass destruction, right?
Yeah,
And then him getting the super serum was from the government. That's like important pieces. Then moving on to his second movie, The Winter Soldier, he sees Bucky, his best friend, who he thought was dead, completely brainwashed. Hydra, once again, using him to be an assassin. He's killing people. He's going absolutely rampage. He doesn't remember who Steve is anymore. And on top of that, in The Winter Soldier, uh, Alexander Pierce is using the helicarriers to eliminate like millions of people before they even start. And that's another example of like the government using the power that they have for a bad purpose. And
yeah,
And so Captain America in this movie, he's like, not only does he not want to shift this blame, he wants to accept everything, but he doesn't want to be controlled because he's seen what the government is. He thinks the government is more corrupt than the atrocities that they're committing, acts like the collateral damage that they're committing. The government has literally brought his friend to the most rock bottom you'll ever see. He like Bucky is such a good guy, but he has been his brain has been electrified and he is brainwashed and he's an assassin for Hydra. And so he's like, I don't trust the government.
can I say, like, maybe this is a hot take? I don't like that Captain America was fighting so hard for Bucky. Bucky is,
Really?
like, the weakest link, if you think about it. That man who studied the, like, phrases or whatever in that book, and he
Yes.
read them to Bucky, and it caused him to, like, lash out again. Like, knowing that that can happen to Bucky, I think makes him a very vulnerable and risky person to have around. I'm like, "Why do you want him around you so badly?" Like, because when he turns like that, he doesn't necessarily even remember who
Yeah.
Steve is, you know? Like, he tries to fight him.
But that's why he wants to save him so badly, is because he was his best friend and he thought
Yeah,
he
but
was gone for so long.
I don't think you can unmush his brain. He's, like, permanently changed from that, isn't he?
Uh, you'll see.
M
But
maybe not.
but I mean, this is not the last you'll see of Bucky because in the end of this movie, you see, but Captain America also he realized in the movie like there were points where he was like, maybe Bucky isn't savable, but he's like, I don't want him to end up in the government's hands because he's like his last ditch effort is Bucky just needs to escape. I don't want him to be in the government's hands. And
Yeah.
that's why he brought him to Wakanda, which we see at the end, and that's where they freeze him again until they can that's where he's like, "I'm just gonna have to go back under until they find what a cure for me."
Yeah. I don't know about Bucky, I'm not really a fan. I wasn't a fan of him in this movie.
Okay. Interesting.
and I wasn't a fan of, like, the idea of trying to save him.
Wow. But I mean, the idea of saving him was it was like part of the movie, but there were so many different like little subplots that that doesn't make the movie bad, right?
Right. End of this
Okay.
movie, uh, at the end of the movie, um, when Iron Man flies to where Captain America and Bucky are trying to break into that building,
Yes.
and those clips are played that show Bucky, when he's obviously not himself, his mind is being corrupted by Hydra. It shows Bucky killing his parents.
Yes.
Um, that was such an emotional scene. I felt so bad for Tony.
Iron Man.
Like,
Yeah.
that was the saddest thing. Oh my gosh, and the fact that he asked Captain America if he knew that Bucky was the one who killed his parents, and he was like, "Yeah, I knew, but I couldn't tell you." He could've told him, I think.
When though? When could he have told him? Because Captain America, as far as I know, he didn't find out until this movie.
Wait, he didn't?
I correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but as far as I know, he didn't find out until this movie.
When?
I think like I don't know, like there was a couple of scenes that it could have like there was no and this is kind of like I wish they would have added this, but there was no actual point where Bucky tells him. So I assume either it was when they had found him in that parking or when they had locked him in that garage after they escaped. Remember that scene?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he's like, "What did I do?" And then he's like, "Well, am I talking to you, Bucky, or are you crazy?" And then he was like
Oh,
saying stuff about him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, all right, this is him." So either that scene or there was a different scene, but I think that's when he figured out. But I don't know.
huh, I never thought about
Yes,
that.
Captain America. Yeah, Captain America. Yes, he might be a bad guy for not telling Tony. I think Tony absolutely should have known. And do I think Tony is justified to start attacking them? 100% yes. Like he should have attacked them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, am I gonna blame Captain America for this? And am I gonna blame Captain America for defending Bucky? I don't know. That's another situation where this is where this movie takes the plot and throws it out the window, right? Because the plot is starts out with the Sokovia Accords. And when it comes to the Sokovia Accords, I'm totally on Captain America's side. But when it comes down to this fight at the very end, where Iron Man sees his parents being killed, and then Captain America's like, yes, I knew about it, but he wasn't in his right mind. I don't know.
I got irritated for Iron Man. I was like at the end when Iron Man and Captain America were fighting, I just thought it was so stupid because I was like, first of all, that's what the people want you guys to do. They want you to try to kill each other because when you're working together, you're too powerful. So I was like, come on, guys, lock in, like, figure it out. But also, I was like, Captain America is kind of being a dick. Like, I understand he wants his best friend to be saved. He thinks he knows what he's doing. But I don't know. I'm like, Tony just found out in the worst way possible that your friend brutally killed his parents, like,
Yeah.
beat them up and, like, assaulted them. So, I think, yes, I agree with you that Tony's reaction is so justified, and I don't like that Captain America has to get all up in his face and, like, he coulda just walked away. He could have been the bigger person and just walked out and let Tony, like, try to process his emotions.
But is Captain America just supposed to let his friend get beat up is the question. Because like Captain America
I
didn't
I
want to
wouldn't have
fight
cared if
Tony.
Bucky got beat up.
Of course you didn't really like him in this movie, but think about it from a best friend standpoint. Like Tony and
I'm
Captain
like, why did
America,
they
they're not that good of friends. Think about it. Are Tony and
Tony and
Captain
Captain
America
America?
Tony and Captain America, are they that good of friends? How many movies have we seen where they're going at it with each other? They're always
They're
fighting.
going at it in most movies.
Exactly.
But
They're not that good of friends.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but oh shoot, I
So
was just gonna say something and I totally lost my train of thought.
yikes. Well, what I'm trying to get at is like Captain America is defending his best friend. Like that's the reason why he's doing all this is because Bucky's his best friend. He didn't even know he was alive until this movie. And Captain America or Iron Man was like, he had said, like, oh, we weren't friends. Like, yeah, you guys are friends, but you guys fight every single movie. You guys are not as good of friends as Bucky. And
Here's my thing though. Here's my thing. I know that they're childhood friends, but when you think about Captain America and Iron Man together in like the Avenger movies, they're working towards the same purpose. Some sort of huge disaster is happening and they need to save the world or like mankind basically. So they are working towards the same goal and like the flip side is when you think about what Captain America and Bucky are working towards, they weren't working towards anything. Captain America just could not let go of the fact that he thinks he can save Bucky and that's like his childhood friend. Think about the whole police chase they had when Bucky was like escaping from what was he escaping from? When they
he's just
were like and Black Panther was going after him
oh,
too?
that was his house. Yeah, that was his apartment.
Yes. And like they got in cop cars and stuff. They were just making a huge mess. And I'm like, here you are putting like public people's lives in danger because you're the one who has to be like, I need my best friend in my possession. He can't be with the government. The government can't handle him. They're gonna do bad things to him. Realistically, the government probably wasn't gonna give him back to Hydra.
The government was gonna kill him. Let's be realistic here.
And would that have been bad? He's a huge threat to society.
Yeah, but
With a couple words, dude, with a couple words, like a spell, suddenly his brain flips a switch and he's psycho. He can kill so many people. He's a super soldier. He's the strength of Captain America, but with a metal arm and like bad intentions, not good intentions. He's so
yeah,
dangerous.
I agree with you. He is a total threat. He's probably the biggest threat in this movie, but that's why Captain America is trying so hard to not let him go into the government's hands because he knows that he's going to die and that if he can just let him escape, no one will find him. Maybe he can find some help. I don't know. Okay, once again, this is another situation of Marvel just doing stuff to just like throw your mind off. Because I agree, like Captain America is fighting against the Sokovia Accords. He's like, no, this is like not a good idea to do this. We need to own up to our stuff. And then he just goes on a rampage with Bucky and just like messing up shit. And it's like that's not really helping your case, Cap. And so I agree, but I'm still on Cap's.
Yeah.
I'm still on Captain America's side.
Yeah. I don't know why he like, I think there was one point where Natasha was like, congrats, you're a felonist. Wait, is
You're a
that what it's called?
criminal. Or no, that was Rhodey. Rhodey had said that.
Was it?
Yeah,
I thought it
dude,
was Natasha. I thought she was like, "Congrats, you're a criminal now."
that's exactly what Rhodey said. And here's a negative I have for this movie because I do actually have negatives for this movie. Rhodey, like honestly, Rhodey might be my least favorite Marvel character. Like he
Really?
actually pisses me off. I I didn't mind him in Iron Man 3. He was fine. But Iron Man 2 pissed me off so much. In this
Yeah.
movie, he also pissed me off. His humor in this movie was so corny and terrible. I hated it. And also,
Wait, it didn't even stick out to me.
yeah, it was so bad. Like normal like Marvel humor is like borderline cringy one-liners. He like actually was going over that line and it was pissing me off. And then part of the reason I also didn't like him in this movie is because yes, they do divide the characters in this movie. You got Tony Stark and his people, and you got Captain America and his people. And I think that they all have good reasons for being on their side. I think Rhodey is just meat riding Tony Stark, and he doesn't actually have a good reason to be on that side, for one. And also, I think Rhodey is on that side and is just the biggest Karen. Like, the people that were on each other, like on their separate sides, were on their sides and were being respectful and like hearing each other out and like arguing. Rhodey just straight up was like, was literally not arguing anything. He was just, no, you're an idiot. You're gonna kill everyone. You're stupid. You should be on this side. It was just, he was like the Karen of the group, and it was making me so mad. And then at the
I can't
very
even
end, like
remember
comments,
anything that he did. I feel like he was very insignificant in this
dude,
movie.
it stuck out to me so badly. And then at the end, he made that comment. He's like, "No matter what happens, Tony," he's like, "I'm still on your side." Like, stop meat riding, dude. Have your own opinion. He
Dang,
was
he
like
is
a
kinda meat
Karen,
riding,
and he's meat
but
riding.
I think it's easy to meat ride Tony when Tony's always right.
Dude, oh my gosh. Rhodey makes me not wanna meat ride Tony, even though I like to meat ride Tony. Oh,
Okay,
it was
you're
bad.
spending it out.
Meat ride. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what was I even on about in the beginning of that? Oh, okay, yeah. All of that comes down to the part where he says, "Congratulations, Cap, you're a criminal." Why was he the one to take in all 3 of them? Out of everyone in the Avengers, in that group, Rhodey was the one to fly down to Black Panther, Bucky, and Cap and say, "Congrats, you're a criminal."
'Cause
Why
doesn't
was it
doesn't
him?
Rhodey work for the military?
Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Yep, that's exactly why.
Oh my god, someone
I
flame this kid right
Dude,
now.
okay, I will
Boy,
accept that I'm
you
wrong.
don't know ball. You don't
I'll
know
accept when I'm
marble
hand
ball.
up. I'm putting my hand up. I'm wrong, okay? I'll
Put 2
accept when I'm
hands up
wrong.
for that. That was bad.
Sure.
That was
But
bad.
I mean, that's how annoying he was during the movie, that him being there just even stacked on top. I'm like, "Oh, pisses me off." But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense why he was there now.
Oh my god, that's funny. Um, when Bucky was being interviewed in that little room where he was, like, locked up, you know?
Yes.
How come no one else they let this random guy in there because 'cause they're like, "Oh, he's the interrogator or the detective," or whatever they called him. I'm like, "Did you guys even run a background check on this dude? Because how did he get in with the book of witchcraft to possess
Yeah. Well,
Bucky?"
he he murdered the real guy and, like, pretended to be him.
With that guy in the bathtub?
Yeah, that was the real guy.
Yeah. Still though, like, how did he get in? I feel
Dude,
like that's not
who knows?
realistic.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Um, okay. Some more stuff I wanted to talk about. We got introduced to 2 new characters, Tom Holland Spider-Man and T'Challa, which is Black Panther. So, what did you think about both those characters? This is their first introductions, and we do have their movies coming up because they do have solo movies.
Yeah, I wanna see their solo movies to learn more about both of them because they didn't have a ton going for them in this movie. Um, Black Panther losing his dad, is that who that was?
Yes, yep.
Black Panther losing his dad, I think, gave him the perfect motive to want to kill Bucky and, like, go after him, like, that made total sense why he ended up being on Iron Man's team and everything. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, on the other hand, I'm like, this feels a little bit random. You're telling me Tony Stark just pulls up and is flirting with his aunt and is like, "Hey, I saw this video online. This is you, right? Oh, yeah, this cart was moving 45 miles an hour. That's impressive that you stopped that." Like, so random.
In
He didn't
hindsight,
even get to
yes,
he didn't even get to think about whose side he wanted to be on, you know? He just,
that
like,
is
got
true.
recruited.
Yeah, but in hindsight, I agree. It is kind of random, but I think what makes it what makes it a little bit justifiable is the fact that they needed to add humor into the movie, and Spider-Man, his whole thing is he's funny, and I think that
Yeah.
his humor was the best in this movie. It was really funny. especially on that airport scene. But
Yeah.
the fact that Tony's, like, just there at his house flirting with his aunt, that was hilarious. So it
Wait,
just added, like,
going
humor.
back to Rhodey, wasn't Rhodey the one who was, like, shooting at Ant-Man, and then he was like, "Oh, little guy's big now. He's big now." Didn't he say something like that?
That wait, that might have been Spider-Man. I don't know if that was Rhodey.
No, I don't think it was. I swear it was Rhodey. That was
Was
a
it
really funny
Rhodey?
part.
Okay.
Whoever that was, it was funny.
Well, dude, Ant-Man goes along with Rhodey with the terrible humor. I was not messing with Ant-Man's humor because
Dude,
Ant
I don't mess with Ant-Man, period. He's
forgot you're a
annoying.
D I forgot you're a D1 hater on Ant-Man. Well,
Yeah.
my problem with his humor in this movie is in his own movie, it wasn't that bad of humor. In this movie, I felt like they just made him the stupid character. Like
Yeah.
him rolling out of the van drunk. When does he ever do that in his own movie? And him acting like an idiot, he doesn't do that in his own movie. Like, come on, even though you're a hater, like you gotta stick up for that.
Yeah. Think about too, in Ant-Man's original movie, he had that Whoa. In Ant-Man's original movie, he had that really good fight scene with Falcon, and then in this movie, there was that one point where he turned himself big and then was getting his legs wrapped up. Why didn't he just turn himself small? Like, he was doing it so rapidly in his own movie, but all of a sudden now it's like he forgot how to do it.
Well, that was way bigger than normal. So I see what you're saying though.
Yeah, I guess maybe it was, like, new tech, he wasn't used to it.
New tech. Yeah, I don't know if he had done that before. But yeah, I was not a fan of how he was talking. It was very stupid, and even like the stuff he was doing, it was not okay with me. Not a fan
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
So yeah, those I think those are all the negatives I honestly have to say about it though. Otherwise, pretty good.
I agree. Pretty good movie. I didn't like watching everyone fight. I thought it was kind of random that, like, um, Thor wasn't there and Hulk wasn't there. It was it was weird that we were bringing in new characters, but not including all the old ones. I mean, I do think they mentioned well, no, I think in the movie they brought something up. They were like, do you even know where Thor is right now? Like, is he that
Yeah, Thor
reliable?"
or Hulk. Because Thor, remember in the end of Age of Ultron, he just took that ship and left, and they don't know where he went.
Yeah.
And then Thor had said that, there are too many Infinity Stones popping up, and he needs to go figure out why, because he thinks that something big is coming, which that person is Thanos. So,
Yeah.
anyway, are you ready for the movie critic segment, where we
Yes.
debate? Alright, let's do it. So, the first complaint, this is an Avengers movie disguised as a Captain America movie.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think I can disagree. I do think this could have been an Avengers movie. I don't know why they had to put Captain America in front of it. Um,
Yeah.
but I can see why
This
they
could have
put Captain America in front of it.
this could have easily been Avengers: Civil War.
Right. But I think they did Captain America because it was more Bucky and uh Captain America. But I don't know. It doesn't really bother me that they said Captain America, but I'll agree it could have been Avengers. Um,
Yeah, I agree with what you said.
the villain's plan is way too dependable on luck. So his motivations, people are saying, I guess his motivations are fine, but the execution of his entire plan of like tricking the Avengers to attack each other and then end up in that place at the very end and see Tony's parents dying and it's the three of them is like way too dependable on luck and kind of just I I feel like I'm over explaining this right now because I agree. This seems like luck to me.
Yeah, because how did he know Tony was gonna end up going there by himself and stuff?
Exactly. How did they know
He
Tony?
couldn't
How did Yeah,
he
crazy.
that couldn't have been planned out.
How did he know he wasn't gonna get caught? How did he know that they were going to follow him all the way to that place? Yeah, crazy. So,
Yeah.
Captain America is actually the bad guy, and the movie doesn't know it. A lot of viewers see Steve as inflexible. Uh, I guess this is a debate for me because I think Steve isn't the bad guy.
Well, I disagree. I think he is the bad guy.
Yeah, crazy, bro. I mean, I see the other side, so I'm not like die hard, but too many characters don't get enough to do. Be beyond Captain America and Iron Man, Hawkeye in seems like not in it. I guess. I don't know. It's a Captain America movie, so I feel like there shouldn't be even screen time with all the characters. Captain America should be the main one, and then there should be side characters, and the side characters are Bucky and Iron Man. So and the
Yeah,
villain. So there should only be 4 characters that are hogging screen time, and I think that's how the movie did it. I don't think there should have been more screen time for other characters.
I agree. This isn't an Avengers
Yeah.
movie. They don't all need fair,
Yeah. Unless
screen time.
unless it's called an Avengers movie, then I would agree. But
Yeah.
it's not. It's not an Avengers movie. Um, the airport. Okay, this is interesting. The airport scene is fun, but it kills the tension because there's no reason for it. Nobody important gets hurt. Critics are pointing out that they don't have anyone getting hurt. It's a giant fun action scene, but nothing advances the story.
Honestly, I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah, it's a fun scene. I don't think it advances the story besides maybe like seeing Black Widow switch sides a little bit at the end. That was
Yeah.
a twist, but I don't know. I guess yeah, it doesn't really advance the story that much, but uh, not that big of a deal to me. I don't think any of these are that big of a deal to me. So
Yeah. That
very interesting.
scene also I think that scene also made it feel like the beef wasn't as serious as what we were thinking leading into it, you know?
Yeah, well, some
Because
of them
they
for
get
sure.
there yeah, they get there and, like, I know Black Widow and Hawkeye, they were kinda, like, joking around with each other. They're like, "Oh, are we still friends after this?" You know, stuff like that. Like, it didn't seem entirely serious for everyone.
Yeah, well, because I
Seemed kind of only serious for, like, I'm gonna say Captain
when
America, Iron Man, Falcon, and Rhodey.
dude, and that's honestly why I also got kinda mad at Rhodey too, is because this isn't an Avengers movie, this is a Captain America movie. Why are you taking this so serious, dude? Like, m most
I
of the
don't know.
characters didn't take it that serious. They were just like, "Yeah, I agree with Captain America, I'll just stand by him." Rhodey was taking this to heart, bro. It was like, oh my gosh. Don't even get me started on this
Yeah,
anymore. I'm done. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. What about you?
me too.
What are you ranking it?
You know, it really wasn't my favorite movie. Like, I guess I would say I'm gonna say 7.8 out of 10.
Okay. I wonder if you're gonna get hate for that. I'm rating this movie a solid 8.8 or 8 point, I don't know, somewhere in that 8.8 to 9 range. I think if I when it comes to rewatchability, it's like if I had to rewatch all the movies that we've already watched so far in our journey, it's not up there as the number one I'd really want to rewatch. But if I think about this for like the aspects that the movie did, like the amount of ways it pulls you, the amount of things that it does, and the amount of different plots, I like how many different plots are going on through this movie. I think it's just like I think it was amazingly written, and I think it just like was just awesome altogether. So it's a really good movie. But all right, guys, that is going to be our review of Captain America Civil War. Make sure to comment down below what you think about our review and make sure to subscribe so you can see more of our Marvel journey. This is Libby's first time watching Marvel. So you're not going to want to miss what she says about the movies coming up. Make sure to turn on that bell for notifications so you can see when we post our episodes. And remember, Saturday, we're going to be posting Doctor Strange. So tune in for that one. Thank you guys for watching, and
We'll see you guys next time.